Leo. Welcome to your July reading and happy early season. Happy early birthday. Woo. So. You know that amorous love energy you've been waiting on? It's here now. But you can't really be bothered with it anymore. It's like a switch flips on the 10th when Mars moves into Virgo. Mars and Venus have been doing this dance in your sign, and Venus will go retrograde in your sign. And it may make you think about some of the seeds you've planted and how perhaps they're not the most realistic, or they wouldn't actually bring you as much joy as the planting process would have you think. So, Venus will go retrograde on the 23rd in your sign, while Mars moves along on the 10th into Virgo. So we have this everything love related is falling at my feet, but I'm much more interested in stacking cash now. I was for a time very interested in this energy, and I couldn't make any headway. But now, as with all things, the less you need them, the easier and quicker they are to manifest. And you learn that lesson during the Venus retrograde, and it makes you wonder, why did I spend so much of June needing things when I could have easily had them by not needing them? But it's the not needing that really is tricky, because we don't essentially need anything, right? But the things that we have been taught are missing in us, we feel like we need. And then when we find something or someone that fills those missing pieces, then we feel like we really need them. And then that person who would have come in to heal us gets put in the no, I really need that category, in which case the universe will then take it from you because you don't need it. You don't need anything. And the universe is always up for teaching you that lesson. So in July, you figure out what you were doing backwards in June. And you realize that people can come in and heal the broken places in you without you then tying your value, sense of worth, sense of happiness, sense of calm, sense of relief even to them. So all is not lost, Leo. Don't worry. For those of you who feel like you have misstepped, said too much, don't worry. And for those of you who really are seriously contemplating some or other, some love connection or other, could be a very dominant fire sign energy who seems to have it all figured out, but they don't. This Venus retrograde is going to show you how so many of the people around you who claim to be such great prospects are actually not. And if you are of the mind of like taking your time and not really wanting to jump into anything, you're doing the right thing. Mars in Virgo seconds this, especially because it gives you a little bit of an edge in your own thinking. Like, it pushes you to be a lot more honest with yourself about how you're feeling. Some of you, for example, are in love with somebody that you, for one reason or another, just can't have. And you know it. And it's still like playing on you, right? So the Mars in Virgo comes in and is like, listen, instead of just looping about this in your head, let's be very practical. Let's be really honest. That's not something that's going to happen. So you have these moments of being really honest with the prospects around you, being really honest with yourself and how you're feeling, who you're putting on pedestals, who should get knocked off pedestals. It's very cathartic. A lot of seeds that, you thought would sprout didn't. A lot of seeds that you gave up on sprout seemingly too late, right? People that once seemed really great, perhaps someone like who's coming back around romantically. On the surface, it seems like such a great idea, and yet it leaves you, in this Two of Swords energy of just like cold and wanting more and not being satisfied. And perhaps that, speaks to a larger conversation of what satisfies you, what now gets you going, because the things that used to get you going have changed. And what, I guess the way to put it, especially because it is Venus retrograde, is like, what does the child within you want? Before sex was a thing, before, this dog eat dog world was a thing, before you knew that people give and take and are opportunistic and everything seems like a terrible hustle. What did you like to do before you knew what being an adult was? What did you like to do when you were a kid? How did you want to be treated when you were a kid? And what were you willing to offer others when you were a kid? Because I think if you think about that, you'll get pretty close to what you're willing to offer in a relationship. Because it is one of the things that's playing on your mind right now. What am I willing to give? Because I know there's a lot of things that I definitely don't want, but I'm also not being really clear about what I want to give. So here we have the King of Swords, the King of Cups, and the Tower. So there's more than a couple of people around, okay? Whether you're throwing the attention at them or they're throwing the attention at you, the question that remains is the same. Regardless of what they come to you with, you're not very clear on what you're willing to give. You're not clear on if you have anything to give right now. Okay? Got to be honest about that too. So now, when it comes to work, when it comes to making money, when it comes to anything legal, anything court related, you don't want to do anything except tell the truth. You don't want to embellish. You don't want to use money to impress. You don't want to use money or flashy words or flashy clothes to stand out. When it comes to matters of right and wrong, justice, the police, court, anything like that, when it comes to contracts, when it comes to anything legal, work-related, legal stuff, you want to just be as plain and clear and honest and truthful as you can. It's really, really important to not get caught up in other people's like word games in July, okay? So, there is also the chance that one of these people that's coming in, King of Swords, King of Cups, is somebody from the past. But I don't know. It seems like you're a little too alive for the proposition for me. It seems like even though they think they hold a new appeal, I don't really know if they do, because you have so much appeal of your own right now that I don't think you need anyone else to bring any sazon to you. I don't think you need it. If there is something that you are looping about or trying to force out of insecurity, and this is very normal in this season, and I just had this talk with the Cancers. One, you have to understand that your luck is going to turn around and that there is like an enormously romantic, satisfying period coming up for you. So just wait this awkwardness out. But two, I think it's really important to remember when we're in the midst of not getting something, or we feel like we're grasping at something. And I mentioned this on the latest episode of the podcast, not giving in to something takes as much energy, if not more, than to go after a thing. So if you ever feel like you're engaged in a one-sided something with someone because they're not responding to you the way that you want, you have to remember that everything is a response. You're in the midst of a connection with that person, whether they like it or not. Okay, so one of the things you have to remember, the most important thing you have to remember about connections, is that those connections exist outside of your will, that person's will. It's really just not up to us, right? So because that is the nature of connection, that is the nature of feeling, that is the nature of want, of desire, of ambition, all these different things. When you feel that for somebody, trust that. Try to trust that there is a connection there, and whatever is best to come out of that connection is what's happening in the moment. So not so much trying to direct the flow of that connection, but basking in the reality of it existing at all. Because you may actually get to the point of just sitting with it and being in it where you think, okay, well, this isn't all that sensational. But how would you even know if you like the feeling or not if you're busy trying to just get it all the time? Because you know what it feels like. You've already been around that person or had that job or imagined that amount of money or whatever it is. You know how it feels. So is it more just that you want to chase the feeling of it, or do you want to actually have the feeling and sit in the feeling? And once you do so, not need it anymore. When you don't need the feeling anymore, it will come to you. I'll be here all week. I'll be here all month. I love you. Let's look at these cards. Also, links for Los Angeles satsang, that is on the 9th. Oakland satsang, that is on the 7th. Buy a ticket, bring a friend. Those are really soon. Those links are below. The venues are gorgeous. And then personal readings, link is below as well. For a look at the cards and to do the thing, that we do, you can check out Vimeo. You can check out an instant link where the extended reading is just emailed to you. Or you can subscribe to a tier on Patreon. There are several tiers. There's Cancer and Gemini, Cancer and Capricorn, Cancer by itself, Cancer plus the live streams from Instagram. There's all kinds of versions, okay? So check that out, and I will see you, and we'll look at the cards. Love you.